I know that my story is not nearly as scary as other stories on here, but it is one of the scariest things that have ever happened to me, so I thought I would post it here. I am a female and I was 14 at that time. I am from a big city in Germany, and that afternoon I wanted to buy a birthday present for a friend. I planned on taking the subway downtown where all the shops were. Even though my home city is big, it is considered very safe, so I never felt unsafe going to friends' houses or downtown by myself. While I was waiting on the platform, a guy slowly walked past me and stopped just a few meters away from me. I remember that he must have been in his late teens or early 20s and that he had glasses on. While I looked around the platform bored, since the subway would not arrive for another 3 minutes, I noticed that the guy was directly looking at me. Being a rather shy girl back then, I quickly looked away. After a few seconds I wanted to check if he was still looking, and I took a quick glance. And surely enough, the guy was still staring. This went on until the subway arrived. By then I was feeling really uncomfortable. Luckily there had been a few other people on the platform, so I still felt kind of safe. I got on and succeeded to snatch one of the few empty seats left, since it was close to Christmas and the subway was packed with people. I could not see the guy from my seat and I slowly calmed down. A couple of minutes later I got off at my stop and took the escalator up to the street. While standing on the escalator I turned around, and my heart sank. The creepy guy from the platform was standing a few meters behind me on the same escalator, and he was still staring at me. I tried to calm myself by thinking that this station was a popular meeting spot and a lot of people who wanted to go shopping got off here. And since it was close to Christmas, he was probably just some random shopper. When I arrived on the street I turned right, walked down the street and turned right again at the next corner. When I turned the corner I quickly looked down the street I was coming from, and the guy was walking in my direction. I felt really uncomfortable, so I entered a bookshop and waited behind a bookshelf for the guy to walk to wherever he was heading to. After a few minutes I got out of the shop, and that was the moment I started to panic. The guy was standing just a few meters away from the store, waiting. I should have ran back into the store and called my parents to pick me up. Instead, stupid 14-year-old me hoped that there was a logical explanation for this guy's behavior and that he might just have been waiting for someone else. So I got out the store and walked in the opposite direction of where the guy was. I walked faster, hoping that if he was following me I would lose him among all the other shoppers. But when I turned right at the next corner, I was walking around the block. I looked back down the street again. He was still just a few meters behind me. While I walked even faster I felt like I was about to cry. But I knew I had to keep calm. So I turned right again, and when I looked back and I still could see him behind me, I was positive that he was indeed following me. What other reason would he have to walk around a block without entering any of the stores? While I tried to think about a way to escape, I suddenly saw my chance. The street light on the crossing just a few meters in front of me turned red and I started running as fast as I could. I managed to make it just barely to the other side before the lane was packed with traffic. I looked back. The guy didn't make it across the street and was standing on the other side, waiting for the light to turn green again, and he was still staring at me, but this time with a creepy, wide grin. At that moment I felt so scared as I had never felt before in my life, and I started running again, this time into a big department store just a few meters away from me. I knew that that department store had another entrance at the back, facing another street. On that street there usually was a line of cabs waiting to pick up shoppers. I sprinted through the store and out the other entrance. To my greatest relief there was the usual line of cabs. I practically jumped into the first cab. In tears I told the cab driver my home address and then shouted, "Quick, quick, quick," while frantically looking back to the door, expecting the guy to come out any second. Fortunately I did not see him. I am still thankful that the cab driver instantly started driving and only asked what happened and if I was alright when we were a few blocks away. In tears and completely shaken I told him about the guy that was following me and how scared I was, and when we arrived at my parents' house he refused to charge me and waited until I was safely inside. To this day I still am grateful to that cab driver. I do not know if that guy who was following me was just playing a very cruel prank on me and just wanted to scare me, or if he had something way more sinister in mind. But anyway, creepy subway stalker guy, let's never meet again.